What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the True Heel Nation. This is your good brother J News with another rendition of J News Japan. And ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a long one. But sit in, strap up, got the one and only SP3. Yes, it's him. It's him. It is SP3 with me today, and we're going to talk about this G1 Climax card spectacular extravaganza that's going to last for about a month and a half throughout the Japanese pre-venture, as they call it. So they'll be going through all the different city states and stuff like that. So we're gonna break down the Block A and Block B, and then go through what our favorite what matches we're gonna look forward to during specific nights. SP3, please.
Yes, it is me. It is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3, back once again with the good brother J News. We haven't done anything together since Goku Lord.
Yes.
Seems like so long ago that a big show with Evil versus Hiromu and all that good stuff. And now we are at G1 time, and it's a very interesting time of the year. My favorite time of the year when it comes to professional wrestling, especially over in Japan. So I'm ready to talk about it and get into it.
Let's get into it, brother. Let's talk about these blocks, the fighter lists here.
But before you do that, let's give them a quick reminder to the folks at home. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a like for this video. Share this video because not a lot of YouTube channels talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling. So if they want an in-depth analysis on what's going on, a preview for the G1 Climax, for some of the best wrestling matches of the year, you can share this video on all the social media platforms. Of course, there's the iCard down at the bottom to subscribe, and amazingly, I think it's about, I looked it up, 44% of you that watch our videos are not subscribed. What are you doing? If all 43% of you subscribe, we would hit our 1K subscribers and we can give away some merchandise to you guys. So subscribe to this video. I know you guys love J News, so put your comments down below in the comments section. Let us know who you want to win the G1 Climax 30. And of course, there's the bell below, just above that, where you can get all notifications for all the great content right here on True Heel Heat.
As SP3 just said, and be aware that I will remind you guys about this at the end of this video.
So, got to do it once at the start, once at the end.
Yeah, we got to break those walls down all the time. But let's get into it, man. Block A. So when this particular announcement came down, I was looking forward to seeing which foreign wrestlers, be it US, UK, things of that nature, were going to be included into the G1 Climax event this year. And thankfully, Block A gave me the one man that I was looking forward to see and haven't watched since March. So let's run this down. So we have your resident New Japan Pro Wrestling Golden Star, Kota Ibushi. We have Mr. Athletic himself, Jeff Cobb, representing ROH, the one and only, the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, representing Chaos, his Chaos faction member, the Stone Pit Bull, Tomohiro Ishii, will also be a part of Block A. Then the return, yes, the return of the aerial assassin himself, Will Osprey, back on New Japan Pro Wrestling. The one and only, the dragon himself, Shingo Takagi of Los Ingobernables de Japón. The king, Minoru Suzuki of Suzuki-gun, along with Tai Chi, Jay White, Switchblade, back on top, back here in Block A, and to finish out Block A, his Bullet Club brethren, Yujiro Takahashi. I can no longer call him the Tokyo Pimp because he ain't got no women.
So the two things that stand out the most in this A block is one, I guess all the fans in New Japan were saying we want Takahashi in the G1, but we weren't specific enough. And we got the wrong Takahashi, but yeah. My God, even with Takahashi in this block, this may be the greatest block in G1 history.
I cannot disagree with that. These matches, whatever pairing you have here at any time, has the ability and the possibility to just be great. 4 or 5 stars every time out. And this is just talking about the A block, right? Like I was mentioning before, glad to see that Will Osprey is going to be back in the New Japan ring. Same thing with Jeff Cobb, man. It's cool to see Jeff Cobb in New Japan Strong, but I know that he, not to say that, the dudes over at New Japan Strong aren't competition, but, he's always trying to test his mettle versus the best. And
to correct you, he's not representing ROH anymore because he no longer has a contract with them.
So I'm going based off of what's on the New Japan website, right? So at the bottom tier here, we have, it says Mr. Athletic Jeff Cobb, and it says ROH at the bottom. I, sir, know and with you here, watching his interview last week with Chris Van Vliet. Jeff Cobb said he did sign with a new promotion, but he did not mention who the promotion was, that he wants the promotion to make that announcement themselves. I am curious to see which promotion this is, because if they're going to allow him to do his New Japan dates, there's only 2 promotions in the U.S. that allow you to do that. Or 3, should I say, right? 3, because Impact allows you to go to New Japan.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. If he didn't even re-sign with ROH, so there's only really, 2 of them, AEW or Impact Wrestling. So
pretty
we'll
much
see how that goes. Just to mention him again, the Switchblade King Switch, Jay White, back in the ring in Japan. You mentioned this last week when we did our roundtable for the Jingu Stadium show. You wanted to see him return for the G1 Climax, and here he is, the true leader of the Bullet Club, coming back, and he might want to cement those heels in this tournament.
He's one, I would say, I don't want to call him a dark horse in this tournament, but I would say he is one of the favorites to win this entire tournament. And it's quite amazing to say that with the competition that he has in this A block. But I would say, of course, Okada is a favorite to win this entire block. It just seems like this was the calm before the storm. We didn't need the balloons and the changing of the hair color this year, but we have seen Okada took a step back, especially since we've been back since the pandemic. He made it to the finals of the New Japan Cup, but ever since losing to Evil in the finals, he's been in the second matches of cards. We all thought that him creating the King of Pro Wrestling 2020 championship was just about to be another case of Okada wins, LOL, but none of that came to fruition. So was it all the calm before this storm, and the storm being him winning his first G1 since 2014? 2014 was the last time the Rainmaker won the G1. So that's 6 years in the making. It seems that it is about time that he does win this tournament again.
So, hypothetically speaking, right, if he does win this tournament again, that means that he would be in line for another shot at the double straps. I think that we have spoken about this several different times throughout different recordings where, we're in that state of mind that, we don't want Okada with the straps anymore. And so even though I do see and understand your point of view, 6 years in the making and stuff like that, and, the calm before the storm, I get the metaphors there with everything in between, but I feel that this year's G1 Climax 30 will have a brand new, no repeat winner as the G1 Climax 30. That much I do know.
I mean, I was gonna bring up that's funny you say that, because one of your favorites is Kodo Obuchi, who won the G1 last year, G1 Climax 29. So I was gonna ask, did you think he was gonna become the first man since 2004 with Tenzan to win back-to-back G1s? Because he's another guy that kind of, ever since he lost back-to-back nights at the Wrestle Kingdom, he's had a kind of a hit or miss type of year. He had the tag team title run with Hiroshi Tanahashi. Then he lost the title to Dangerous Tekkers. But ever since then, he's kind of been dealing with this inner turmoil, whether he wants to turn on the ace or not. So I thought maybe we could potentially see, we didn't mention Tanahashi in the A block. So could we see a battle of the Golden Aces in the G1 finals again? But it seems like you're saying no to that as well.
I'm saying no to that for the simple fact that it's like you said, it's been an up and down year for the Golden Star. I think that Obushi's been one of my favorite guys for years now, but I don't see him winning this particular G1 just because of how they've developed different characters throughout the last couple of months since the pandemic, and just them trying to create new stars out of some of the guys and stuff like that, at least in my belief, and then give other guys pushes and stuff like that. I see him going deep into the G1, getting a lot of points, but I don't see him winning the G1. Just to base it off of that.
So one of the guys they have been given a push to this year that's in his second G1 in the A block, and I am just tingling at the thought of Shingo Takagi against a number of people. I want to see his rematch with Ishii because every time they battle it out, it's a banger, especially their match last year in the G1. I'm ready for the return match of the Best of the Super Junior finals from last year with him and Osprey. That was my match of the year in 2019, and I'm sure they're going to pull out another banger. And first time ever, Shingo versus Okada. First time ever, Shingo versus Obuchi. Oh, I'm tingling. I'm tingling. What do you think about Shingo's chances here in his second G1?
Listen, man, I think that we spoke about it in the roundtable, man. This guy, Shingo Takagi, is being, not that he's being pushed to the moon, but he's just a serious character, dude. He's a serious wrestler. He's one of the most talented guys. He's been the MVP for the company for the last year going. And it's rare to see him take a loss, man. And now that he's no longer in that never open weight title picture, they've got him bumped. The feeling is that they have to bump him up another level. So, bumping him up another level would him be winning either this G1 Climax. We've already gone past the New Japan Cup. We've already gone past the King of Pro Wrestling stuff. So this might be right up his alley. So the first time ever matches, man, with Okada and Ibushi and the rematch with Osprey, like looking forward to all that stuff, bro. I want to see what kind of a match that he turns out with Jeff Cobb, to be quite honest, to see how that goes. Jeff Cobb being able to do what he does, Takagi with his strong style, son. Like I just want to see what kind of match they develop there as well.
I will say, like, this is a big opportunity for Jeff Cobb because I felt like last year being in the B block, where B block, you kind of had Naito, you had Jay White, you had John Moxley, but there wasn't really like that overwhelming favorite, and he kind of had a little bit of matches that I will say were kind of didn't meet the expectations that I had. So with the amount of competition in the A block, this is a huge opportunity for him. But speaking of matches that are going to be great with Shingo Takagi, we get the rematch between him and Minoru Suzuki, who in my eyes, even though Shingo has had a great year, I would say the MVP for New Japan of 2020, especially since the return with the lockdown, has been Minoru Suzuki. At 52 years old, do you think this man is going to hold up over 9 ridiculously high-level matches?
He'll hold up. I mean, it's Suzuki, bro. He'll hold up. He'll smack the taste out of all their mouths and stuff like that. He'll put his foot in all their asses. It's who he is. Because every person in this match goes up against every other person in this block. So at some point, he's gonna have to put the whooping stick on Tai Chi, and I'm looking forward to that.
The Battle of Suzuki Gun.
I'm looking forward to that because I just want to see if Tai Chi just backs down or if he steps up. You know what I'm saying? Because that's gonna be That's a storyline within itself, I feel. And you know, the Suzuki Okada thing returns as well once they have their match. I'm sure they'll put up, you know, a highlight reel video of their past matches and their feud and things of that nature. Suzuki and Ishii, why not? Right.
And that was the next person I was gonna bring up. Ishii has kind of been the nearly man of the G1 Climax, but every single year it seems like the common theme of the G1 has been Ishii has, if not the best, one of the best matches of the entire tournament. Yeah. So what do you think this is finally gonna be his year, that they just say, you know what, let's give Ishii a chance?
That's a tough call, man. That's a tough call. Just because he's part of the 6-man never open weight champs, right? And I know they're not obviously they're not against double championships, but a triple championship, I'm not sure about that. You know what I'm saying? So look, man, we're gonna see good matches out of Ishii. Like for the I think for fans who don't watch New Japan, right? They look at the aesthetics of Tomohiro Ishii and they're like, what's this guy really gonna do? And then he does it all the time, no matter what. He makes you cringe. He makes you like, oh my God, but what just happened? It's like the reaction, the emotional reactions you get out of Tomohiro Ishii matches is what has me as a fan locked in. I'm ready to watch them all, man. All these matches. And I brought up Will Osprey earlier, just because of his return. But I always mention this because I think it's throughout my history of watching shows live, my favorite match of all time has to be the Will Osprey versus Jay White match that we were at live for that ROH show. I think it was
War of the Worlds 2017.
2017. Dude, I could never forget that match. That match tore the house down, and that match stayed with me. Obviously, it stayed with me to this day. And Jay White's a completely different style wrestler now than he was back then, from the aesthetics of it. But I'm looking forward to see what they bring to the table in their match in the A block and whatnot, because the feel I've gotten with Will since he jumped over to the heavyweight division is that he's gonna get that push. He's gonna be that guy gene, right? That guy. Yeah. Even though they have Jay White there, Will Ospreay's a star for them.
He feels like more of the guy that can fill that. You know, the top Kaijin kind of got its like presence in the top stars of the promotion with AJ Styles back in 2014 when they made him the IWGP champion. When Styles left in 2016, it was a smooth transition from Styles to Omega, and Omega held down that spot for 2-3 years until he left. And Jay White, they kind of set it up with Jay White to kind of fill in that spot, being the leader of the Bullet Club. He beat Omega for the U.S. title. All of these things, but the guy that kind of fits that mold of Styles Omega is Osprey. Osprey seems like the natural progression, but he's a guy that's mired in controversy coming out the speaking out movement with allegations as well as evidence with him blackballing Polydana. So he's a guy that I don't know. I don't know, because I know the original plan from Uncle Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, he's talked about in the past, is that the G1 was going to be used to propel Osprey into that main event level to make him one of the top 6. But I don't know, New Japan is a type of promotion that's very conscious of the world around them, especially in the wrestling community and the talk among him. So I don't know if they're going to go all in and make this the Osprey tournament now that he's mired in controversy. He's a very polarizing person when it comes to the wrestling community right now. But what's your thoughts on Osprey's chances of winning the whole thing?
So I after looking at the card and everything else in between, and I was just looking forward to him returning to the ring, right? Because he's one of my favorite guys to watch and whatnot. Even though, like you said, he's mired in controversy and stuff like that, and he's spoken out about all that stuff as well, coming out to defend himself and whatnot. basically stating that he didn't ever intentionally try to blackball anybody or whatever. It's just one of those things where it's going to continuously be a he said, she said type of deal or whatever. I understand that Pollyanna had her issues with B, and that's where it came from, his girlfriend. So I think just as wrestling marks as we're also aware of the kind of controversy that his lady is involved in from time to time when it comes to backstage locker room stuff. Not so much him in that regard, because he has his own internal personal issues that he deals with on a regular basis and stuff like that. It's not usually outward from what I'm aware of and stuff like that. But you know, am I gonna sit here and say that this G1 Climax is gonna be the Osprey show? No. I know I can't say that for a fact. Obviously, I don't book, but at the end of the day, I don't see it happening just because of, like you said, New Japan is very aware of what's going on in the wrestling community, and they don't want to come out and lose any fans, piss people off, get bad media and stuff like that. They rather get the good media instead of the bad media, because the saying always is, what is it? Even bad publicity is good for you. Yeah. But I don't think New Japan is in that belief system. So it'll be cool to see him back in the ring, but I don't think he'll go far, though. That's my take on that. All right, so we just finished talking about the A block here. We're gonna move over to the B block, and let's just mention the New Japan Pro Wrestling talents that'll be involved in the B block. We have the ace himself, Hiroshi Tanahashi, the return of the flamboyant Juice Robinson, the fierce warrior himself, Hiroki Goto of Chaos, Toru Yano of Chaos, Yoshihashi of Chaos, the double champ himself, Tetsuya Naito, is in the B block of Los Ingobernables de Japón. Cold Skull, my guy, my favorite, Sonata. We have Zack Saber Jr. of Suzuki-gun, the return to Japanese wrestling of Kenta. He's been doing his spiel on New Japan Strong. And to round it all out, former double champ himself, the King of Darkness, Evil of the Bullet Club, rounds this out. Before I hand this to you, Sid, I know that it is commonplace for New Japan to put the champ in the G1. I've always had this feeling that because the G1 Climax tournament is designated for whoever wins it gets a shot at the champion, why is the champion in the tournament in the first place? Maybe it's because I'm used to Western booking, and it's like, well, you're going to get a shot at the champ. Why the champ is the one waiting for the challenger? In this case, Naito has won the double straps twice this year. So then you're going to make this tournament out to be where he's not going to win this tournament. He's not winning this tournament. And you're going to make him lose in this tournament to then defend the championships against whoever the possible winner is going to be. I've never understood that booking per se. I have always understood, yes, these are wrestling matches. They're more for the sport than anything else, and everything in ring. But from an overall wrestling booking standpoint, it's like, yeah, no need for Naito here. You know what I'm saying? That's just my thing, because for me, and obviously fantasy booking and everything aside, you mentioned him when we started talking about Block A, because we got the wrong Takahashi in Block A. We should have gotten the right Takahashi in place of Naito in Block B. And I think it would have been for a more interesting dynamic for Block B, and for a storytelling perspective as well. So I just wanted to mention that to start that off.
Well, to start the talk with the B block, to go back to the A block a little bit, I understood the placement of Yujiro Takahashi in the A block, because we'll talk about a guy in the B block, but each block needs a day off. a day off for everyone on there where they're not going to be working 20, 30-minute matches and putting out the high quality. And that's what Yujiro Takahashi is in the A block. To answer the question about Naito, I've always seen this a little bit in your perspective. When I first started watching the G1, I always asked the question like, why is the champion in the G1? And then I think it was the year Okada was on his long title reign, his 720-day reign. It was always talked about because Okada was so dominant. What if Okada won the tournament? And they said, well, if the champion, that was the first time I heard that if the champion wins, they pick their opponent for Wrestle Kingdom. So I think that it's up to New Japan within the next couple of years to actually have the champion win. Like they need to have a long-term champion that wins this tournament to kind of establish that yes, the champion can, because it's been so long since the champion actually won this tournament. It was before the days of even Wrestle Kingdom, before these 14 big events in the Tokyo Dome, that the champion actually won the G1. That it's about damn time that they have the champion win and pick their opponent at Wrestle Kingdom to kind of establish that yes, the champion can win. Because we fans that have been watching since 2013, 2014, 2015, whatever year you came into this, we haven't seen it. So we don't believe it's possible anymore. So they need to reestablish that. Going back to the day off perspective, that will start us off on one of the guys in the B block, the current King of Pro Wrestling champion, the Toru Yano is much needed in this tournament. I always say that about Toru Yano because Toru Yano puts on some of the most entertaining matches, but he gives every person in this tournament a day off. And as we've known for him this last couple of years, especially last year with a Mr. John Moxley, he tends to be the spoiler when it comes to people because people can be undefeated in the G1 and then their first loss is against the one, the only Toru Yano.
Yeah, man. Look, I can't disagree with that. There, I feel like when I thought about it and I said Naito's not winning this, I feel like one of Naito's losses is gonna come at the hand of Yano.
I don't think so because I think Yano beat him last year. So okay. I don't, and especially because with the G1, or another reason why the champion is in the tournament is to set him up with challengers for after the tournament. Because we're gonna have a couple of big shows before we get to January and the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom. We're probably gonna get King of Pro Wrestling either at the end of October, beginning of November. Naito needs a challenger for that big show. So I think that one of the guys is going to be someone that beats him in the G1. So that's why I don't think it's going to be Toru Yano. But I do think people that beat him might set up for King of Pro Wrestling championship matches for him.
Sure. No, I can't disagree with you there. Like I said, man, it just bothers me a little bit that the champ is in the tournament, but it is what it is. I don't feel like if we're basing it off the story that's being written in 2020, does it make the most sense for Tetsuya Naito to pick his challenger going into the next Wrestle Kingdom? Let's think about that.
Well, it would if it's one of the guys that I feel is a dark horse in this entire tournament is the one, the only, your personal favorite, the J News Japan MVP of New Japan, Sonata, the cold skull. I think that he is really a dark horse type of guy to win this entire thing because he didn't win the New Japan Cup, which we both called. We both did it in unison that we thought that he was going to win this entire tournament. We just got the wrong LIJ member wrong on that one. Like they got the wrong Takahashi. We got the wrong LIJ member who didn't turn out to be a LIJ member all along. But I think Sonata is going to be in this. I think we're going to talk about with the final night of this tournament with the B block competition. He has a big matchup that we kind of teased during our Drenko Stadium roundtable where him and his opponent are going to be in the race. They're going to be in that contention on that final night. And I think that Sonata is one of the favorites to at least win the B block.
I do not disagree with you, sir. I'll never disagree with you in that regard. Um, Look, I honestly right now, I know that towards the end of our recording, we're gonna see as to who we want to win the G1 Climax. I don't have a winner in this, bro. I really don't. Sonata's my favorite. We all by default, I'll always go with Sonata, but it's like I just really don't know due to the way that the Jingu Stadium show was booked, right? And it was like Gato got creative. So it's like maybe they're gonna get creative with the G1 as well. There's not gonna be all this perpetual, well, yeah, this guy's gonna win and that guy's gonna win because it's just not happening there. But for me, it's like, yeah, I'm looking forward to Sonata versus Evil. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I want to see Sonata get his hands on Evil. I want to see that beef brew up and become something. But I also want to watch Sonata versus Kenta because that match right there, son. That for me, because of the way because of who Kenta is in Japan, right, and what he means to that wrestling industry over there, and the role Sonata's been on in 2020. Can the role continue throughout the G1 Climax? Will he be able to?
Would you call it a role that he's been on? I kind of feel like Sonata's been hit or miss. Like, I don't think he's been as consistent as he's been in the past. I think last year was a better year for him. He had the big win against Okada. He had the 5-star match against Okada in the New Japan Cup Finals. While this year he had the big loss to Zack Saber Jr. at Wrestle Kingdom. He had the big loss against Evil in the New Japan Cup. Him and Evil did not win the World Tag League at the end of last year. Like, he hasn't, I don't think that this year has met up to his standard that he set in 2019, which was a career year for him. That's why I say that he more than anyone in the B block needs to have great performances as well as big time wins.
The reason as to why I say he's on a roll is because he's won his last 5 matches. whatever he's won his last 5 matches. He's tapping people out. He's beating folks with that O'Connor bridge as he usually does and stuff like that. Granted, dude, like you said, in the New Japan Cup, he did lose to Evil, but it was a protected loss, right? It's not like Evil can beat him one-on-one. That's just my take. That's me with my bias. Evil can't beat Sonata with his eyes closed, goddammit. So that's just my opinion. But the matches, man, like Sonata versus Kenta, Sonata versus Evil, Sonata versus Hiroki Goto, son. Hiroki Goto has been like, when the G1 comes, it's like he's trying to steal the show every match out, son.
I remember he had a classic, I think it was either last year or the year before, 5-star matchup with him and Tomohiro Ishii. That really was one of the standout matches of the entire tournament. But it just seems like a distant memory of him in these G1 Climax finals. Like, he was in the finals against Kenny Omega in 2016, but it just feels so long ago that he was consistently either in the finals of the New Japan Cup or in the finals of the G1 Climax every single year, that I feel like he's going to be a middle of the pack type of guy. But I do agree with you that he's going to put on a lot of bangers. I think that him and Naito should be really good. I think that's his only main event that he has scheduled for the tournament. I think him and Zack Saber Jr. will be an interesting contest as well.
I can't disagree there. Hiroki Goto matches up well with a lot of different guys here in the B block, so I'm interested to see how that goes. The outlier in the B block for me, because of the kind of, I don't know if you want to call it a semi push because he was the U.S. champ for a bit or whatever, is Juice Robinson, right? So Juice is interesting because I don't necessarily know where he's gonna go. It's like you said about Goto. He can be a middle of the pack guy, but he can also be a very impactful guy. So it's like, well, if they really want to rewrite the script and throw out everything they've done this year, they could just lay it on Juice and see how he goes through the B block, and it's a brand new story. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's Juice is one of those dark horses in my opinion, when it comes to the B block and stuff like that. Hiroshi Tanahashi, on the other hand, the great ace that he's been for New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm not sure what happens with him. Does he even get a win in the B block at all?
Wow, really? That's what you're thinking right now? I'm very I was very, we're gonna go through each night, but I was very surprised that they went to the Tarahashi Naito match on the first night of the B block, because I said, I will say this once, I'll say it 100 times, one of the best G1 Climax block finals I've ever seen is him versus Naito in 2017. Naito's 2017, the G1 Climax 27 is probably my favorite G1 Climax of all time. You had that match, you had the 6-star classic with Okada and Omega, you had the block the finals of the G1 Climax that year with Naito and Omega is my favorite G1 Climax finals of all time. Yeah. So I thought that it was very surprising that they went to that match so early, but I think that Tanahashi, he is in the twilight of his career, as you would say, but I do think that he's going to be in this to the end. And the guy that he's going to verse at the end is Zack Saber Jr., who finished towards the top of the pack in 2018, but had a lackluster. He had to pull out some wins late in the G1 last year. He got off to a very rough start last year and had to pick up steam towards the end. But I feel like Zack Saber Jr. is going to be back in the pack. If you look at this B block, he's the best technical wrestler in the entire tournament, and he's one of the better competitors when it comes to tournament play in this B block.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree there. I just I put it out there for the sake of thought process, man. Is Tanahashi gonna win any matches in this block? Is it they have Yoshihashi's finally a champ? Are they gonna have Yoshihashi lose against after he got the rub?
yes Yoshihashi is gonna lose a lot of matches here. Yoshihashi's gonna be towards the bottom of the pack. I am predicting right now Yoshihashi will have the worst record in the B block.
We'll see, man. We'll see
because I'm predicting
because Tanahashi he's on his own. He doesn't have Obuchi covering his behind in these matches. So
I think Tarahashi will lose his first match against Naito. He'll probably go 0-2, 0-3, and then he will go on a run, and Tanahashi will be in towards the head of the pack on the final night.
All right. Yeah, you just yeah. I'll let you have that.
one of my key favorites for this B block, like I said, Zack Saber Jr. is like a dark horse. Sonata is one of my favorites to win this entire B block. I said Tanahashi's going to be in it to the end, but the guy that I am looking at to kind of really show his own is the man that won the New Japan Cup USA, holding that briefcase for the IWGP US title shot, Kenta. I feel like Kenta is going to be a very interesting person in this matchup. One of the matchups I'm really looking forward to is Kenta versus Evil, the Battle of the Bullet Club, to kind of see who is the top Japanese star in all of the Bullet Club. But I think Kenta and Evil are two of the favorites to kind of win this B block.
Man, it's interesting, right? Because now that Kenta's back in Japan, does Evil now automatically flank to the second in command, right?
Well, you got Kenta and Jay White,
Jay White. So he'll be knocked down a couple pegs, as a matter of fact. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a tough. That's why I was saying earlier. It's a tough call for me, this G1, just because of the way that you can weave the story throughout both blocks and stuff like that. And look, man, I don't take anything away from Kenta, but I'm looking forward to these matches where it seems I can't automatically pick Kenta over anybody outside of Juice Robinson and Yoshihashi and Toru Yano. You know what I'm saying? Everything else.
I think Yano might get a win over Kenta.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. So I think everybody else is up for grabs in that point there. With as strong as they booked Evil this year, do you see Evil losing to Kenta here? Even though Kenta holds that briefcase and stuff, with how strong they booked Evil, I don't see Evil losing to Kenta, just because of main New Japan continuity and stuff like that. So that's something to be seen. Kenta versus Naito, right? Kenta versus Naito. Naito getting that revenge, that sweet, sweet revenge, because he wasn't able to do the roll call.
Well, he got his revenge, if you remember, at New Beginning in Osaka. That was the main event of New Beginning in Osaka, and he got his revenge there. I mean, I'm more looking forward to who's gonna win the rubber match between Naito and Evil. That's gonna be are we gonna see more Naito and Evil after the tournament? If Evil wins, are we gonna see Naito kind of win the rubber match? Because now they're 1-1. It's gonna be very interesting on night one.
That's true. That's very, very true. I would say that because Naito has taken it with 2 matches with Evil and stuff like that, and they got to have that rubber match like you said before. I feel like Kenta's not done with Naito. I feel like there's something else is going to brew there even further, and it might be a loss for Naito, and it might be Kenta coming out of the B block. Even though I don't want to say that, I said it out loud already, but I don't know where to go between Kenta and Sonata. I honestly don't. Being that they position Kenta the way that they have. And Evil, having these other storylines. Obviously, like you said, you want to see that rubber match between Evil and Naito. The storyline that's obviously developing between Sonata and Evil, and everything else in between. So it's going to be interesting here in the B block, I say. I can't call it right now. So it is going to be quite the shows as we go through them.
So we got to go through the shows for the G1 Climax 30. It's going to start this Saturday, September 19th in Osaka. Plenty of big matches in the A block, but what is the one match you're looking forward to the most on the opening night of the G1 Climax?
Opening night of the G1 Climax, I am looking forward to the Stone Pitbull, Tomohiro Ishii versus Minoru Suzuki, because, son, I just want to see somebody beat the piss out of somebody else. That's what it's about for me on night one out of the A block.
That's always a hard-hitting affair. I'm going to go a little bit different. I will echo the sentiments of drunk Uncle Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio. I have not seen the 2 best matches that I've seen all year were at AEW Revolution when Hangman Page and Kenny Omega defeated the Young Bucks in one of the greatest tag team matches that I've ever seen. And the other that's right on that level was at Wrestle Kingdom 14 Night 1 in the main event when Kazuka Okada defeated Kodo Obuchi. These guys have put on a banger there. They put on a banger last year in the A Block Finals, and I think they're going to have another banger on Night 1 on September 19th. So September 20th in Osaka is going to be the opening night for the B block. What is the match you're looking forward to there?
B block match of the night for me will be the Warrior himself, Hiroki Goto versus Kenta. I see that match going longer than going a little bit long, and quite the story being woven in that match there. And that's the match that I'm looking forward to the most in night 1 for B block.
I'm going to go once again to the main event, and I am going to say the return of one of the best rivalries that I've witnessed in my time as a New Japan fan. The whole reason why Naito really had to change into the ungovernable one is his whole feud and his friendship that turned into a feud with Hiroshi Tanahashi, and it gets reignited in the main event. Tanahashi versus Naito is the match I'm looking forward to on September 20th. Then we're going to have a couple of days off. You'll have a couple of days off to do reviews on both nights news. And then you are back at it on September 23rd in Sapporo. What are the matches you're looking forward to from the A block?
I'll cop a mention here for 2 matches, if I may.
You may.
Main event, Jay White versus Kodo Obuchi. Man, I want to watch that. I want to see how that goes. And then the second match for me is the initial match of the night. It'll be Shingo Takagi versus Jeff Cobb. I am a big fan of Jeff Cobb and Shingo Takagi, the dragon himself. I want to see what this is about. I want to see how this goes down. And yeah, that'll be the matches I look forward to at A Block for night 2.
I would just say, like, the last... It's been like 5 years straight. The G1 Climax Finals has been one of the best matches of the year, sure. And that was no different when Kota Ibushi versus Jay White last year. That was just a classic babyface versus heel matchup. But I'm gonna go different on this one, and I'm gonna say the Battle of Chaos members, the hard-hitting Tomohiro Ishii versus the high-flying Will Osprey. I think this is first time ever. Yes. This one is just these are 2 of the best wrestlers in the world, and I just can't wait to see what they create in the ring together.
Yeah, man, I can't disagree there. And I want to say honorable mention. It's the battle of the members of Suzuki Gun. As I mentioned before, I wanted to see Minoru Suzuki beat the piss out of Taichi, and that's gonna be the night it's gonna happen.
Pretty much what we're trying to say on September 23rd, you want to watch this show because the only break you're gonna get is Okada versus Yujiro.
Exactly.
September 24th, they're back in Sapporo for the B block competition. What you got there?
I would say for me, it'll be the first match of the night. My main man, my boy, Sonata, up against Hiroki Goto of Chaos. I'm looking forward to that match there, just because of how good they both are with their relative styles. And also, a match we didn't get to see on New Japan Strong that was supposed to happen, Juice Robinson versus Kenta. This is going to be interesting because if I'm not mistaken, SP, you have a better memory than I do when it comes to dates and matches sometimes. Did Juice ever go up against Kenta while they were in NXT?
I don't think they have. I don't think they did. I don't remember it, at least. It wasn't memorable.
Yeah. So this will be a first time ever match, especially with the way that Juice wrestles now in New Japan, and Kenta's style. It's an interesting pairing for me. So I'm looking forward to those 2 matches there.
This one, I'm not only going to go with the main event, but I'm also going to go with a prediction. I am going to say the best match of the night is going to be the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Champion Tetsuya Naito going up against Zack Saber Jr. And I think one half of the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Zsj, gets the victory over the double champion.
That's big. That's huge. That is something that will be commented on here on our YouTube channel down below. Might create some controversy there, so
you can come at me. I love it. September 27th, they are in my favorite place in Japan, Kobe. 8 and 24 all day. What you got as the match you're looking forward to the most?
Oh man, I'll mention the main event off the bat. Switchblade. Jay White King Switch versus Kazuchika Okada in the A block. I want to see that go down. I know it's happened before. I just want to see where they're at now in their respective careers.
That's the rematch of the G1 Supercard. I was there live for that. That was one of the best matches of WrestleMania 35 weekend for sure.
I think we sat on opposite spectrums of the
Yes.
of the garden that night.
Yes, I'm gonna go with the rematch of the 2019 match of the year, in my opinion, of Osprey versus Shingo. This one will be banger certified banger extreme right here with this one. But this is another night that you don't get a break outside of Yujiro versus Taishi, because you got Cobb versus Suzuki, you got Obuchi versus Ishii. Banger upon banger in Kobe.
Yeah, man, that's a definite right there.
September 29th, they are in Kurgan Hall. What you got here?
This might sound a little left field, but it's my reality after spending this summer watching so much New Japan Pro Wrestling. I need to see the match. Evil versus Toru Yano. I need to see this match. I want to know what underhanded chicanery Toru Yano is going to come up with in this match in order to defeat Evil, because I feel, my prediction, Toru Yano will beat Evil in this match.
I wouldn't be surprised. I am gonna go a little bit different here. I'm not gonna go with the main event, even though that's gonna be pretty good with Naito and Goto. I am gonna go with Zsj versus Kenta. I feel like these two have totally different styles, but Kenta does do well against the more technical based wrestlers, and I think this one should be very interesting on the 29th. September 30th, they are back in Kurgan Hall for A block competition. What is the match you're looking forward to the most?
As I stated before, earlier in this broadcast, this recording, and I will state it again, my favorite live match that I've ever watched is Jay White versus Will Osprey, and I don't mind watching that match over and over and over again. I'm looking forward to that match here. I'm also looking forward to Jeff Cobb versus Kota Ibushi. I mentioned this before, the contrast in styles, what they can deliver, the athleticism that Jeff Cobb brings for a guy his size versus Ibushi's quickness with his strikes and everything else in between. That'll just be dope. I think this is another night, not to take your thunder here, Sid, but it's another night where it's going to be banger after banger outside of Suzuki versus Takahashi.
I'm gonna yes, I do agree with you there. I'm gonna go with the main event. I'm looking forward to the most, a rematch of one of the best matches from last year's G1, as Shingo will take on Ishii in the main event. But I will also add on a prediction here, and I think that Taichi finally defeats Okada on September 30th in Kurgan Hall.
We've been talking about and speculating about that match for a while now, when Taichi was going to beat Okada, and this might be it.
I think this is going to be the night. October 1st, they're in Nagaoka. I think I said that right. I probably did.
Nagaoka.
Nagaoka. Thank you. This is why you're the expert when it comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm going to make my choice first for what I think is going to be the standout match on this night. And yes, I might be stealing your thunder on this one. And I am going to go with the hometown hero, Sonata, going up against the double strap champion, Naito, in a battle of LIJ. And I think another bold prediction, this is the night that Sonata finally beats his daddy of LIJ, Naito.
Man, oh man. I will second that notion right there. I've been waiting for this for a long period of time, man. Sonata's... look, do I know if Sonata's going to come out on top in this match? No. Do I want him to win? Of course I do. But this is going to be a great match. I think another great match, because the main event is going to be LIJ versus LIJ. Another great match is going to be Bullet Club versus Bullet Club. Evil versus Kenta. Who is the true ace of the Japanese side of the Bullet Club? This is how it's going to go down. This is how it's going to break down, and I'm looking forward to that as well.
So they get a couple of days off, and then they're back at it on October 5th in Takamatsu. I thought you can correct me on that one.
Takamatsu.
Thank you. This is why you're the expert. I am gonna go with the standout match on this night being the main event one of my favorite matches of last year as well. Once again, both of their matches last year at Wrestle Kingdom 13, as well as in the G1, it was Kodo Obuchi versus Will Osprey. I think this is another banger certified extreme.
I can't disagree with you there, but the other match that I'll be looking forward to as well is going to be, yet again, I am a fan of Jeff Cobb. I want to see how he does in the ring against Jay White. I want to see what the styles look like together in the ring. I think it's going to be an interesting match there, even though I think that my prediction is Jay White will win the match. I just want to see how the match turns out and what the styles look like together. From that regard, obviously we're going to see the continued long-term feud of Suzuki and Okada continue on here. And you know that, yeah, October 5th, Takamatsu, put it in your freaking calendar.
Absolutely. October 6th, they move over to Hiroshima. I think I got that one right.
Yes.
And B block competition, I am going to go on this night with Sonata versus Zsj. I think these are two of the best technical wrestlers in all of New Japan, and that's the match I'm looking forward to the most.
I think they faced off in the New Japan Cup as well, right? Where
was it the New Japan Cup? They didn't verse in this year's New Japan Cup, but they did verse at Wrestle Kingdom 14.
There you go. So yeah, two of the best technical wrestlers in New Japan Pro Wrestling, period. These guys can go at it for hours and it not be boring, right? So I think that match right there we have to pay attention to. I don't know about the other matches of the night though, right? The main event, obviously it's the Ace versus Kenta of the Bullet Club. Not saying that it's a throwaway match at all because it's the main event, but not too worried there, right? From my perspective, I think that's gonna be
a really good one.
Yeah, it'll be a solid match, I would say. I think, not to say that it's a night off, being that Yoshihashi has cemented himself in the New Japan roster, but it is the double champ versus Yoshihashi, so I think that we can say Naito takes that match there. Yeah, man.
So October 7th, they are back in Hiroshima, and I am going to go once again with the main event of the evening. First time ever, Shingo Takagi versus Kodo Obuchi. This one will be an epic.
Yes, I agree. If they get more than 20 minutes, I'll be happy. That's just my take on that. But to give another highlight match for the bill, yet again, another Jeff Cobb match for me. It'll be Jeff Cobb versus Okada. Don't know how long this match will go. Usually the first couple of matches are anywhere between 10 to 12 minutes long. But if they're given time, I think that the match would be really, really solid and really good.
And I would gotta also highlight Osprey versus Suzuki, first time ever. That's gonna be freaking awesome. October 8th, Okayama. Mm-hmm. I got that right. Cool. B block competition. I'm gonna go here with an interesting one. I'm gonna pick my first Yano match here, and I'm gonna go with Yano versus Zsj. I just think that it's gonna be hilarious because Zsj is a very underrated comedy wrestler also. So I think this is gonna be a very funny one. And I do want to highlight the main event of Tarahashi versus Evil, because they had probably the hidden gem of the entire G1 Climax 29 last year, with Tarahashi having one of the greatest babyface performances ever in that match.
Agreed there, man. And to mention another Sonata match, it'll be Sonata versus Kenta. These styles, the athleticism, the grace of Sonata versus the hard-hitting, strong style of Kenta. I think that match will surprise a lot of folks on October 8th.
So a few days off for the A block competitors. October 10th, they are back at it, and they're back in Osaka once again. And I am once again going to go with the main event of the evening. First time ever main event. It will be Shingo Takagi versus Kazuka Okada. Two of the best the very best, top 5 guys in my opinion when it comes to the New Japan roster. This one will be a certified banger extreme. CBE.
There you go. There you go. I would have to say what I'm looking forward to in this one is the match that's going to hit the hardest and it's going to start our night. It's going to be Jeff Cobb and Tomohiro Ishii. That match.
I'm going to disagree with you on
really?
this night. I think the match
it's going to be Suzuki versus Ibushi. That's going to hit hard.
That's the match that hits the hardest. Ishii and Cobb is going to be a hard-hitting affair. They had one of the better opening matches of the G1 last year. One of the best main events of the G1 in my opinion. But Obuchi versus Suzuki. I'm like our good friend Tom Collihu of Sports Kita said during our Janko Stadium, we're gonna need an ice bath after watching that one. October 11th, I will let you name where they're gonna be because I can't pronounce that.
It's Aichi. So.
Aichi. I knew it. I knew it. I just wanted to alley-oop that to you, I guess. I'm gonna go in this one with Tarahashi versus Goto. I think that's gonna be a very interesting matchup, one that I haven't seen too many times in the G1, so I think that's gonna be a really good one.
All right, so then I have here, this is live in Aichi. I would say I am looking forward to the comedy fest that will be Toru Yano versus Kenta, because Toru Yano does so well versus the more serious characters in New Japan, and that's where the real comedy comes in. So I'm going to be looking forward to that match there, and of course the main event, man. The main event, the rubber match, Evil versus Tetsuya Naito. We have to see who wins out here. Does the feud end? Does it pick up more of a pace? Where does it go? So that's what we're looking forward to there.
I'm just hoping we don't that Naito can overcome evil dick once again. October 13th, they're in Hamamatsu. Hamamatsu. There you go. I said it, but yeah. I'm gonna go in this one with. This is another one that's a tough night to predict, but I'm going to go with the main event, Okada versus Ishii. These guys put on one of the greatest G1 Climax matches of all time in 2016, and I think they're going to give us another banger certified extreme.
CBE?
CBE.
All right, we'll stick to that. I feel like the first match and the second match of the night should have been flipped, right? I think that the opening match should have been Yujiro Takahashi versus Kota Ibushi, because that's Ibushi's day off right there. And I'm looking forward to Jeff Cobb and Will Osprey, because Mr. Athletic versus the Aerial Assassin is going to be a show.
Another rematch of the G1 Supercard from New York City once again right there.
It's going to be an all-out show, and we can't sleep on Takagi and Taichi. You just can't. Because Taichi has been prone to giving us some sleeper goodness in these tournaments. So Taichi and Takagi, and obviously anything Suzuki's in, is just amazing nowadays. So
absolutely, and I think the heelish actions of him and Switchblade may be a lot of fun there. October 14th, Yokohama, we got B block competitors in action here, and I am going to go with another comedy fest, another comedy extravaganza, as it's going to be Yano going one-on-one with the double strap champion Naito, the king of pro wrestling, versus the dual gold champion. This one should be a lot of fun.
I think you're absolutely right. This is going to be a let's quote it as it should be said nowadays, a wonderful match because of the comedy that can be brought here, and just for the sake of how good these two guys are, Evil, Hiroki Goto, that match right there, I think that it will pull out the stops and it'll go the distance as well. I think that's where the drama is going to lie, the amount of time that they have in that match, and how they weave the storyline into it.
And another great technical wrestling matchup of the main event with Tarahashi versus Sonata is going to be very, very good. And then we have our final 3 nights in Ryogoku. This is deciding it all. We're not only going to give the match we're looking forward to the most, but what we believe is going to be the block finals for the A block and the B block. October 16th, A block competition ends. I will run through every single match on this card right here, and you can tell me what you think is going to be the best match and what you think is going to be the block final, if it's 2 different things or not. A block competition, we're going to start off the night with Shingo versus Suzuki. We got Obuchi taking on Taichi in the Battle of the Golden Aces versus the Dangerous Techers. We're going to have Ishii versus Switchblade Jay White. And we are going to have Okada versus Osprey in the Battle of Chaos.
Man.
I made it real hard for you here.
Yeah, I think.
And, there is also Yujiro.
Yeah,
I think I just left him off.
Yeah, what are we gonna do there? But I would say that match of the night is a toss-up, right? Shingo, Takagi, Minoru, Suzuki. We're just gonna get a repeat of what we saw, probably even more hellacious this time around. And I don't usually say this. And I understand the consequences and the circumstances that have arisen over the last several months and things of that nature. Will Osprey, in this occasion, I feel will get the rub from Okada.
So you're calling Will Osprey to finally beat Okada after 5 straight losses?
Yes. Yes, sir.
And which one do you think is going to be the A block finals?
Out of all these matches?
Yep.
Probably that one, bro.
I'm going to agree with you there. My prediction for the best match on this show and the A block finals will be Okada versus Osprey. This is the one card that the point standing will determine the order of the matches, so we don't know what's going to be the main event, but I just feel like that has to be the main event. And Okada, I think that Osprey is going to be in this tournament to the end, but I think he's going to get number 6 here, and I think Okada wins the A block.
All right. That's fair.
B block ends on October 17th in Ryogoku. We're going to see Naito versus Kenta in a rematch of New Beginning. We're going to see Yano versus Yoshihashi in the Battle of Chaos. We're going to see Juice versus Goto. We're going to see Tarahashi versus Zack Saber Jr., a reigniting of that main feud, and the battle you've been looking forward to the most, news. You're gonna see Evil going one-on-one with his former partner Sonata in a rematch of the New Japan Cup 2020.
Yeah, man.
So best match and block final, what do you got?
Same with this one as well. They have it in its order. I feel block final, Sonata versus Evil. Winner, Sonata. So that's I'm going with it. That's how I feel. I will always choose Sonata over Evil no matter how they book shit. Because if there's more interference in this match, it'll just create more drama, more storyline, and things of that nature for future matches between Evil and Sonata, because Evil can just never beat Sonata one-on-one. So if this match is one-on-one, I'm counting on Sonata to win this match. But if we get more Evil dick, Evil will win this match.
I believe that we will see Evil dick And I don't think that Sonata can overcome Evil Dick just yet. I think that Evil winning here will set up a larger story for after the G1, possibly maybe even going as far as Wrestle Kingdom 15. But I believe the B block finals will come down to Naito and Kenta, with Kenta defeating Naito.
So you have Kenta at the end of it all, coming out of the B block along with his briefcase in hand. Let's make sure that that is an important fact that we're talking about here. He will have that briefcase still, and he will beat the double champ in order to go to the G1 Climax Finals the way that we have it against, well, for me, it'll be against Will Osprey. In this particular,
and you have Sonata versus Osprey on October 18th.
On October 18th, I have Sonata versus Osprey, which is that's just a spectacle waiting to happen. I feel, but even if we do get Kenta versus Okada, that within itself is another epic waiting to happen. You know?
Absolutely, and this is a rematch from last year's G1 when both of them were undefeated before they went one-on-one. So I just feel like this is the bigger matchup, and I feel like Kenta proved that he's a draw for New Japan earlier this year in Osaka when he versed Naito at New Beginning. So I feel like this is a big enough G1 Climax finals to kind of present there, and it's once again Okada versus the Bullet Club, which is been his ongoing feud for 2020 so far this year.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there, but it it's a toss up for me within those. But I feel like either way you go, the final's gonna be a banger, certified.
CBE, certified banger extreme. So who you got on October 18th? Osprey versus Sonata is your finals. Predict who you think is gonna win.
Obviously, I set this up for me the way that I thought that it would have to be. It's not Will's time yet. It has to be Sonata's time at this point. So Sonata ends up winning the G1 Climax 30 tournament. That is my pick. It'll probably get turned to shit halfway through, but hey, I'm going with Sonata to win the G1 Climax 30 final against Will Osprey. And I think if that happens, it'll give two of the younger competitors. I believe Sonata's not even 30 yet, if I'm not mistaken, and Will's about 27. Two of the younger guys a credibility push, and it gives them it gives New Japan an opportunity to pay it forward to the younger guys and create bigger stars out of them, instead of just relying on who the established veterans and heavyweight guys are, right? So they gave the push to Evil during the New Japan Cup, which prompted Evil up. So that was a good thing to see. Obviously, we have the return of other wrestlers in the G1 Climax tournament, but from an overall standpoint, when it comes to the roster, I want to see New Japan as a company continue to create more stars and bigger stars in the main event picture. And I think using Sonata and Osprey in the final will do that for both of them, and they'll be taken more seriously in that regard. What about you, man? You have Kenta coming out of this one on one side, and you have Okada coming out on the A block. What is your take? Who wins here?
I love your finals with giving new guys an opportunity, but I just don't see it in New Japan. I don't see how they will have a G1 Climax where every year I've watched New Japan, Okada, Tarahashi, or Naito has been in the G1 Climax finals. Every single year, one of those three have been in the finals of the G1 Climax. One of those three have been in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. So I believe that this year Okada will win once again the G1 Climax. 6 years since his last win of the G1, he will make it his third win of the G1 Climax, and he will go into Wrestle Kingdom as the challenger for the first time against Naito in the Tokyo Dome.
So based off of what you just said, right? You're telling me we're going to see Okada versus Naito, what, 15?
Yes, on the biggest stage. On the biggest stage, this will be the final encounter, the final time. Okada and Naito, they need their conclusion, because Naito finally got the monkey off his back by defeating Okada this year in the Tokyo Dome, but it doesn't end the series. It doesn't end there, because Okada won so many times against Naito that Naito needs to defeat him in the champion position and finally put Okada in his past and put Okada in the rear view mirror. That I think that this is Okada wins the G1, but eventually he loses at Wrestle Kingdom to Naito.
All right. I mean, that's hey, that's solid, brother. I'll say that. That's solid. I don't want to see it, to be honest. but it's solid reasoning due to the way that New Japan has booked their shows in recent years. So hey, if it happens, will I be upset? Sort of. But
you will. Just keep it real. You will.
I'll be upset, but it's not like they're gonna put on a bad match. So at the end of the day, it's the quality of the wrestling over the quantitative part of it about how many times they've done this match. So it.
Hey, they are 2-1 in the Tokyo Dome. 2-1 for Okada. Okada won at Wrestle Kingdom 8. He won at Wrestle Kingdom 12, and he lost at Wrestle Kingdom 14. And I think they bring it back around. Okada finally gets back into the main event position, but he loses to Naito at Wrestle Kingdom. But I feel that this is Okada's G1 to win. But I believe that throughout everything, I feel like the real finals will be Okada versus Osprey on the 16th. Yeah. Whoever wins that match will win the whole G1.
Yeah, definitely, man. I feel like that's gonna be the match of the entire tournament, and whoever wins from that match goes on to the final. Because as you know, I got Sonata winning. And if Sonata doesn't win, I will freaking riot. This is what happens, man, right? This is how it goes down. I am a very calm, a very meticulous individual. I stay very reserved. But if Sonata does not win this G1 tournament, you're gonna see me on recording flip the fuck out and curse someone the hell out. And it's going to be a side of J News you've never seen before. And I promise you this, you'll probably see me cut one of the most ridiculous Ric Flair-inspired promos you've ever seen in your life. That's all I have to say about it.
I love it, and I would love to see it. So that is our New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax 30 preview. Thank you so much for letting me join you on J News Japan, sir.
Anytime, SP3. Man, you're the fearless leader of our True Heel Nation, and it's always a pleasure to have you on the show to discuss these major tournaments and major events that go on in New Japan. But ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier in this recording, I am here to remind you again, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. This has been your good brother J News, and the one and only, it is he, SP3. Please check us out all the time, and Do your best out there. Stay safe, please. We're still in a fucking pandemic. It is real, folks. It is real. Be good to one another. Stay wrestling fans. Me and SP3, we about this one.
Peace.